Welcome, I'm Maricela Kelleton with another episode of Scope. 5 target provinces were selected by the government for the main intervention in the fresh produce sector: Western Highlands, Jiwaka, Simbu, Eastern Highlands and Morobe. The 5 provinces encompass a continuous geographic area going from Mount Hagen, the main hub for fresh produce trade in the Highlands, down to Lae, the second largest city and urban market in PNG, and the major port supply in Port Moresby, the capital city. Recently, 15 lead farmers in Eastern Highlands, Simbu and Western Highlands signed a partnership agreement with the Fresh Produce Development Agency for the Call 1, Batch 2 of the Market for Village Farmers project.
The market for village farmers directly benefits approximately 25,000 households, of which around 23,500 in the fresh product value chain and 1,500 in the gallop sector. These would represent 46,000 primary beneficiaries in application of the family-based approach that will be used throughout the project. Around 125,000 persons would directly benefit from project activities based on a household of 5. Primary beneficiaries will mostly be semi-subsistence households, but may also include market-oriented small farmers involved or with potential to get involved in the target value chains. The market for village farmers, or market belong village farmer, aims at improving the livelihoods of village farming households in the target provinces by facilitating their transition from semi-subsistent agriculture to market-oriented production and farming as a business. Women village farmers will constitute a specific target group because of their disempowerment, lack of access to services and markets, as well as elevated gender-based violence, which altogether negatively affect household revenues and well-being. The project will also benefit the youth by creating new economic opportunities in the production and trading of fresh produce, facilitating access to innovation and new technologies and services, including through digital applications and supporting small business growth. Primary beneficiaries will include different categories of fresh produce buyers that source from village farmers, have scope for expanding their operations, and can become a conduit to provide village farmers with access to market and services. Chief Executive Officer of Fresh Produce Development Agency, Mark Vorinu, said in PNG the challenge is not only to deliver benefits but also to ensure that communities and households are able to translate these benefits into sustainable household welfare improvements.
For the project, the MEF project, and we are confident that within the remaining period of the implementation period of the project, we will be able to roll out these partnerships and make sure that we meet the targets of these partnerships and also meet the targets of the government. It's critically important that we make sure that we build the capacity of the farmers. We establish reliable production systems for the farmers. We connect them to the markets. We build the operational capacity of the lead partners, and they become the leaders in the supply chain. And they're able to source produce from the small farmers and supply consistently in terms of quality and quantity to the market in Papua New Guinea.
Interventions will be a family-based approach. It addresses the fact that households are not cohesive units with shared needs and resources. Different members pursue different goals and are responsible for different production and consumption activities. The family-based approach helps families to look at the work done by women, men and youth to work towards a more equitable distribution of agricultural and household work and to create a joint vision and an action plan.
We have a big vision. The project has got a lot of promise because of the fact that the government wants to see that it particularly improves the livelihoods of our people in terms of food security and import replacement, and seeing how people are able to generate income and put in their pockets. And those were the key wisdom statements that the government had, because vast majority of Papua New Guineans indulge primarily on horticulture. And so you can't take away that. That's the spine, that's the safety net of Papua New Guinea, and still remains for the next how many years, it will still remain as it is.
MWF Project Manager Joe Koima hailed the farmers for their stamina and commitment in continuing to deliver the project's intentions.
I want to apologize for the project not taking off sooner than expected because we had the COVID-19 coming through, and then we had the elections coming on board. That actually caused a little bit of delay. Mr. Modi, you knew about it, but there's a lot of times the farmers almost fought with me. But eventually, this is a time when we can, say we move the project at least a step ahead forward. The movement of the project forward will entirely be dependent on the partners and the support of the provincial government, the district governments, to ensure that the project is moving forward with your support in terms of human resource, financial resource, capital investments in the project, because the requirement if a project spells out that you have to have some portion of support for the project to be implemented in the project.
Deputy Secretary for Agriculture Francis Daink said the islands provide excellent growing conditions for a wide range of temperate fruits and vegetables year-round. He said the project has scope for expansions to other regions, as the intention is to develop innovative business models for further replication and upscaling. Daink emphasized on the family-based approach that it has been successful because it works through traditional leadership structures and explicitly includes men seeking to build a consensus and demonstrate that social inclusion and gender empowerment will bring social and economic benefits to the entire family.
To be successful, we can go for all three, but that depends on successful people now. So we can move from the government, lagi masih bagus juga. Nomor satu juga anything yang disebut. Jadi mana? You dan mana waktu itu kalau silakan itu. So you got those farmers, you hold them all good, you teach them all good. People are doing we are lead farmer, so they'll carry out your extension, they'll carry out your data collection. So everyone does something important with data.
Speaking on behalf of the lead farmers in Eastern Highlands, Priscilla Smeka, Managing Director for Green Label Limited, expressed satisfaction to MWF through FPDA for the assistance. Smeka said some pressing challenges as well.
This let me walk. Plenty challenges me facing as a woman. Plenty, so many challenges. Me looking myself, plenty need them stop now. Time we still need them stop. Me look come come outside and help me. Na eventually come up as an FPDA recognizing me plan. Na at least me plan come through lots of program of signing of agreement law. Market for village farmers. Me and mama system. Me plan finally signing this document which am really me plan law 7 months man marry law house life. Challenges mostly me plan facing road condition but me plan road condition I mean alright. So time lo me lo others come in me look around lo find him kai na no sa come on time. which means some types of supply, some time is a supply and go, that kind of stuff. Some of the challenges when we facing transport no sa gutta transport na time or karam kam kay bagarap ko mi la karam gulo market to am hard and the time la go late na no gata mi go how mi making way na rausi mi rausi some time mo sa transport available mi karam go na lo silo market set na helping more farmers.
Jenny Baba Mambu, an aggregator in Western Highlands, reiterated these concerns, one of which is the lack of proper storage facilities by airline companies to preserve fresh vegetables.
Second plant challenges in New Guinea because all not cool rooms, no cool rooms in New Guinea. That's why all can bloom plus stuff outside. Color blooms are going to change. Now, by the time I'm go down to Moresby over 1 night or 2 nights, lo year, and I'm go down to Moresby, colors bagara na also rejecting my which me to the plant in New Guinea long. I'm asking cool room in New Guinea all not providing me blood isla because I don't know why or make it some time. Some of the time me blood Salimol wages go down. Na osakisim okay outside overseas come. That's a time when all cargo bloom plus are gone now, all veggies bloom plus are gone now. Agarap amount of that planting time, and me plus supply now to longer time and this like problem and sakama.
3 aggregators signed the partnership agreement in Western Highlands Province. The Department of Agriculture and Livestock is responsible for overall accountability, oversight, and coordination of the project.
For us in the government, we always under pressure to run this project. It was a cross-partnership project for quite a while, but we stood in Papua. So we are happy and we are proud that we've come this far, and we hope and pray that we'll progress and we will see something in the next couple of months, the next 3 months. So if you do something well and under the results, we can negotiate for another one, another funding. But then we work as friends and partners, these whole things.
In Kundiava, 6 lead farmers signed the partnership agreement with FPDA.
We want to really change the mindset of our people to take farming as a business. And I think this project was particularly designed to reinforce that thinking. That people will have to really take ownership. And we have to partner with them. They have to learn a little bit about economics, business, establishing reliable production systems, and they must understand the requirements of the market. That was the thinking, and at the same time they can generate income, support their livelihoods. So that was the whole thinking behind designing this project.
Mr. Vorino pledges to work with the lead farmers and ensure the project delivers. Lead farmer Francisca Mubo from Kupo Fresh Produce thanked all the MVF partners.
Thank you, FPDA, for helping us small farmers in the province to come this far. We have seen many changes in farm production during Market for Village Farmers project. We have come in the harvest phase to get involved in the Market for Village Farmers project. Project agreement signing today is the greatest achievement for us, with partners and the farmers who will be benefiting from this project.
The MVF design builds on the experience gained on the IFED World Bank European Union Productive Partnership in Agriculture project, which has developed successful models for supporting partnerships between buyers and small growers of coffee and cocoa. The project also aligns to IFED's 4Ps model.
When we come back, defense agreement debate continues. On May 22, 2023, The United States and Papua New Guinea concluded a defense cooperation agreement and an agreement concerning counter-illicit transnational maritime activity operations. According to the U.S. Department of State, this DCA represents a natural progression in decades of defense cooperation with Papua New Guinea. The agreement will modernize the security relationship and replace an outdated Status of Forces Agreement and Memorandum of Understanding regarding defense cooperation. The US-PNG DCA will form the foundational framework around which our two countries will enhance security cooperation, further strengthen the bilateral relationship, improve the capacity of the PNG Defense Force, and increase stability and security in the region. On Wednesday, June 14, the 11th Parliament debated the risk and the benefits of the government of Papua New Guinea entering into such an agreement. A number of outspoken leaders remain skeptical as what this agreement really means for the country. Member for Kendry and Gloucester and Leader of Opposition Joseph Lelang has made it clear that the opposition does not support the Defence Cooperation Agreement between the United States and Papua New Guinea that was concluded on May 22. The U.S. states that the DCA will facilitate bilateral and multilateral exercises and engagements in support of regional capacity building priorities. It also enables the United States to be more responsive in emergency situations, such as those involving humanitarian assistance and disaster relief. Lelang is concerned that the agreements would bring the country into geopolitical tensions currently between the U.S. and China in the Pacific region.
Signing this Defence Cooperation Treaty cannot be seen as a stabilizing factor in Papua New Guinea and the South Pacific region, but rather it has brought us into a dangerous geopolitical game. The greater the United States' presence in Papua New Guinea may be seen as provocative towards China. We see the rise in tension between China and its allies over Taiwan and its claims in the South China Sea, also islands, also Japan. And this tension has engulfed our neighbors, the Philippines, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, among other countries. Then just next door to us, the Solomon Islands have signed an agreement with China, which has raised serious concerns in the United States and from its allies. Mr. Assistant Speaker, the rivalry between China and the United States is both military and economic. And we as a nation are caught up in it by signing this defense cooperation agreement.
Vanimo Green member Belden Nama, however, sided with the government and voiced support for Prime Minister James Marape's leadership, commending the signing of such an agreement.
I believe this is the best agreement that our country has ever entered into. It is the best agreement in the sense that the United States of America will help us build our force. Right now, our force readiness is not there. We have since late 1990s, we have decreased our defense force to just 2,000 men. And I know and I commend the previous government of Prime Minister O'Neill then and now Prime Minister Marape for trying to beef up our force so that we give strength to our defense force. This agreement, Mr. Assistant Speaker, will help build our force. Our country is recognized and it becomes sovereign when we have a strong military. If we do not have a strong military, we forget ourselves as a country. We are the only country within this region that has a common land border with a populous Muslim population in Indonesia. And how prepared are we as a country?
Nama went on to voice concerns on defense policy and legislation, stating that in terms of policy and legislative alignment, the country is not ready. Nama said there is nothing wrong with building the country's defense force. This new agreement will enable PNG to participate in the U.S. Coast Guard's Ship Rider program, enhancing PNG's organic enforcement capabilities, improving overall maritime domain awareness, and helping PNG protect its sovereignty. However, member for Yalibu Pangia Peter O'Neill highlighted other potential threats that PNG could be inviting by signing the DCA.
But PNG is not in conflict with anyone. We are not at conflict with any of our neighbors or the region for that matter. So it is concerning that we are allowing military bases to have free access into our country, creating attention, unnecessary attention, been coming to PNG as a result of that. And for the first time since the Rarotonga arrangements, we are allowing nuclear facilities to enter into PNG. The ships will carry nuclear facilities. The ships will carry nuclear facilities. The aeroplanes will do so. You can't stop it. That's a fact. And Australia is, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not disagreeing with it, so don't get too excited. All I'm telling you is what is going to happen, the reality that we are going to face as a result of this agreement. So it is going to bring a lot of attention to our country, so we have to be prepared for it.
This agreement will provide an expedited mechanism for obtaining flag state consent to board and search vessels reasonably suspected of illicit trafficking, as well as promote robust cooperation and information sharing between the United States and PNG. The signing of this agreement demonstrates a commitment to work together to promote good maritime governance in the region.
China is pursuing its national interest. So too, Papua New Guinea must pursue its national interest. Yumi too got right lo pursue national interest lo mipla. Mipla I apaste tasol mipla looking heavy kama pantablong. Hela we. Olmani kidnap him 17 pla young pla Mary. And we sit here powerless. Na inside lo ting blo mi miok lo wiso sem. We could have the capabilities of the US. So time samla long man or tribal terrorist or kidnap him or young plameri. Me like look him helicopter hap with people who are appropriately trained. You may go either you may hold him despla all terrorist or you may kill him all too. I want the PNG government to have that capability. Some time ago, me read him sampla all Asian vessels. Only go lo wampla island lo, konab lo milen bay na, only go steal him all, sea cucumber lo hap, no only threaten him na terrorize him all people lo hap. I read about that in the newspaper and I thought to myself, if only we had the capability to go out there and protect our people.
Prime Minister Morobe says the Defence Cooperation Agreement as well as the Ship Rider Agreement are intended to address the dynamics of a robust and rapidly changing global security environment, emphasizing that the DCA will not compromise PNG's bilateral relations with other countries but aims to enhance cooperation synergies between the US and PNG for mutual gains.
Me assure everyone that these two back-to-back agreement signed does not in any way, shape or form compromise our foreign relationship with other nations, closer to home or far from home. We realize, and this is done in complete sync and in harmony with our principle of friends to all, enemies to none, Mr. Assistant Speaker. I note the uneasiness on many of our constituents, many stakeholders, many of our bilateral partners, and of course, many of our leaders on the uncertainty and uneasiness such a relationship would cause us. Members of Parliament 15 years from today will look back, and I am willing to take all the blame for anything that goes wrong in our country in as far as this defense cooperation and the Ship Rider is concerned. And as the nation stand back 15 years from today and look back, leadership is all about making calls. And hopefully we make the right call. For not to make such call is not leadership at all.
And that's been another edition of Scope. Thank you for your company. Good night.